Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get straight to the insights that matter. Today, we're plunging into a world that's absolutely vital to, well, pretty much everything in our daily lives, but often goes completely unseen. We're talking about the crucial behind-the-scenes realm of global freight logistics brokerage.
Exactly. Think of it as the hidden backbone of the global economy. These are the people, the companies, making sure everything gets where it needs to go. Your coffee, your phone, everything.
And we've got some really interesting data to dig into today. It's from Cognitive Market Research, their Global Freight Logistics Brokerage Market forecasts. Gives us projections from 2021 all the way out to 2033.
Yeah, and our mission here isn't just to, read out numbers. We want to extract what's really important, help you understand what these big trends mean for how goods and services move around the world. And, crucially, why this industry's changes actually matter to you. Whether you're just curious or maybe looking at the business side of things.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with the big picture. The global freight logistics brokerage market. It's not just big, it's growing incredibly fast. Back in 2021, it was already worth nearly $68 billion.
68 billion, that's substantial.
Right, and just a few years later, by 2025, it's projected to hit over $83 billion. But looking further out, by 2033, the estimate is, well, almost double the 2021 figure, reaching about $125.6 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's with a steady compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of just over 5.2%.
So what those numbers really signal, beyond just growth, is the increasing complexity, right? And the absolutely essential role these brokers play. They're the ones juggling routes, shipments, customs, all that paperwork. It's a massive coordination effort and that consistent growth. It tells us the global economy is getting more interconnected, but also more reliant on this kind of precise, almost real-time orchestration to keep things moving smoothly. Producer to consumer.
That makes total sense. So, okay, we've got this huge overall growth. Let's break it down by region now. Where's the action happening? Who are the established players versus the rising stars? Starting with North America, currently the leader, right?
That's right. Leading the pack.
Market there was valued at nearly $27 billion back in 2021. That's set to climb to almost $33 billion by 2025, and then projected to hit a pretty impressive $48.1 billion by 2033.
So still very strong growth there.
Definitely. And within North America, no surprise, the U.S. is the big driver. Its revenue is forecast to grow from just over $21 billion in 21 to nearly $37.6 billion by 33. But here's something interesting, Canada's growth. Its CAGR is actually faster, over 6.4%.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it means Canada's market is set to basically double from around $3.2 billion to $6.6 billion. What do you think is behind that faster pace in Canada compared to the U.S.?
Well, that's a good point. The U.S. market is massive, obviously, and it's still growing. But Canada's percentage growth being higher, it often reflects its specific role in cross-border trade, especially with the U.S., naturally. Plus, connecting its own vast geography efficiently requires strong logistics.
Right, makes sense.
And we're seeing real investment there, too, in infrastructure and technology adoption that helps streamline brokerage. And Mexico's showing solid growth, too, moving from about $2.2 billion up to nearly $3.9 billion. So the whole North American picture, it's a mature, very robust market where efficiency and, those integrated supply chains are key.
Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe, their market was sitting at almost $19.5 billion in 2021. Projections show it rising to nearly $23.7 billion by 2025 and then hitting $34.7 billion by 2033. The CGR there is just under 4.9%, still steady.
Steady, yeah, solid growth.
Key players, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, all showing significant increases. What caught my eye was the rest of Europe segment. So this includes countries like Russia, Spain, Sweden, Denmark. That group is showing a stronger CAGR, actually, over 6.2%, growing from about $4.5 billion to over $9 billion by 2033. Does that suggest maybe a diversification? New hubs emerging outside the traditional big economies?
Absolutely. I think that rest of Europe surge is really telling. It hints at a few things. Could be new manufacturing centers popping up, definitely increased e-commerce reaching more places,
Right.
and improved trade infrastructure connecting those areas. It suggests that while the big economies are growing steadily, you've got this dynamic expansion in maybe smaller, more agile markets. They're looking to integrate more deeply into global supply chains. So, yeah, new opportunities opening up across the continent for logistics providers.
Okay, now, Asia Pacific.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Ah, yes, the growth engine.
Totally. This region is showing incredible dynamism. set to more than double its market value. It started at nearly $12.9 billion in 2021, projected to soar past $26.3 billion by 2033. And that reflects the highest regional CHA we've seen so far, over 6.4%.
That's significant.
Huge. China, of course, being the world's manufacturing hub, leads the way. Expected to nearly double from $4.1 billion to almost $8 billion. Japan's also a major player, going from around $3.2 billion up to over $6 billion. But you really have to look at India.
India's growth is phenomenal.
Right. It has the highest country-specific CAGR we've identified in the report, an astonishing 7.3%.
Wow.
Growing from $2.3 billion in 21 to over $5.1 billion by 33. What is fueling this, especially in India? What makes that region so incredibly dynamic?
Well, the Asia-Pacific story is really one of both scale and evolution. China and Japan, their large numbers reflect their established roles. But India's surge, that's really striking. It's being driven by, well, a massive domestic market that's booming, rapid infrastructure development, and a really strong push for adopting digital technology and logistics. It's not just about moving more stuff. It's about making it super efficient through tech. And that's where brokerage really shines.
Right.
And you also mentioned Singapore and Southeast Asia. Their KGRs are even higher, above 8% in some cases. That signals intense digital adoption, serious logistics innovation happening there. Think about managing goods across island nations, diverse economies. They're fundamentally rethinking supply chain efficiency.
Incredible pace there. Okay, moving down to South America, we see significant growth there as well. The market's projected to more than double, from almost $4.7 billion in 2021 to over $9.6 billion by 2033. That's a robust KGR, again, over 6.2%.
Very strong.
Brazil is the top contributor, expanding from $1.6 billion to over $3.2 billion. And it's worth noting, Argentina and Colombia both showing KGRs over 7%, so real expansion happening there too.
Definitely some hot spots in South America.
Now let's look quickly at the Middle East. Here, the growth is more modest, but still steady. Around $2.4 billion in 2021, projected to grow to over $3.8 billion by 2033. The CAGR is 3.8%. That's the lowest regional rate we've seen, but, still positive growth. Saudi Arabia leads that market.
Steady progress, if not explosive.
Exactly. And finally, let's head to Africa. Africa recorded sales close to $1.4 billion in 2021. That's expected to rise to over $3 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is healthy, over 5.7%.
Not bad at all.
Nigeria and South Africa are leading that expansion, both seeing their markets essentially double or more. What does this tell us about, the broader economic picture on the continent?
Well, the growth in Africa, especially in key economies like Nigeria and South Africa, plus that solid CUI AGR for the rest of Africa, it points towards increasing economic diversification. Urbanization is a big factor, too.
Right.
As these economies grow and integrate more into global trade, the need for more sophisticated logistics, including brokerage, just naturally increases. It's a sign of improving trade infrastructure, a growing consumer base. Parts of the continent are becoming really vital nodes in the global supply chain.
So pulling it all together.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is seeing those different growth rates side by side. It really paints a picture of global economic shifts, doesn't it? You have North America and Europe, huge established markets, steady growth, important, but the real acceleration, the dynamism, it's clearly in Asia Pacific, South America, and increasingly parts of Africa.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Countries like India, Canada, Argentina, Colombia, regions like Southeast Asia, they're emerging as really strong players, not just in volume, but in how they're approaching logistics, adopting new tech.
So it's not just more, it's smarter too.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these shifts in logistics brokerage really mirror those profound global economic trends. You see the continued rise of Asia-Pacific, obviously, massive manufacturing, massive consumption, but you also see the growing integration and development in South American and African economies, those high-growth spots. They point to more digital adoption, big investments in infrastructure, and really innovative logistics solutions, making things more efficient, more scalable. It's not just about moving boxes anymore. It's about enabling global commerce on a scale that was, frankly, unimaginable just a few decades back.
So what does this all mean for you, listening in? Understanding this market, it gives you this vital kind of behind-the-curtain view of global commerce, how things actually move. It sheds light on everything from the prices you pay to how resilient supply chains are when things get disrupted, which we've seen happen. So for anyone interested in global trade, economics, maybe even thinking about careers, this sector, especially in those high-growth areas, it presents really significant opportunities. It's foundational. It underpins almost everything we consume, And how it evolves directly impacts how accessible, how affordable goods are for all of us. So we've taken quite a journey there through the world of global freight logistics brokerage, from the overall size to the details across continents. It's clear this unseen backbone is not just growing, it's evolving fast. New power centers are emerging. Tech is playing a huge role.
Yeah, and it really raises an important question for you to think about. As we become more reliant on the sophisticated global logistics brokerage, how might that reshape how we think about future innovation? Innovation in technology, yes, but also in infrastructure, maybe even international policy, all the things needed to support these incredibly complex supply chains. It's really about more than just moving goods. It's about building a more interconnected, efficient world, one shipment at a time. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get straight to the insights you need. And today, we're taking a deep dive into a really fascinating area. Freight logistics brokerage. It's complex, often unseen, but so important.
Yeah, our mission here is to really unpack the key dynamics of this, well, essential industry. We're drawing directly from expert analysis in freight logistics brokerage, Market Dynamics Unlocked, which is powered by cognitive market research. And you might not think about it much, but this industry, it quietly underpins so much of our daily lives. You know, the online shopping arriving at your door, the food in your grocery store, even just products being on the shelves. It's like this silent engine, isn't it?
Right.
Really keeps the modern economy moving.
It really is, exactly. And understanding this market, well, it shows you a critical link in the global supply chain. It operates mostly behind the scenes, but its vitality, I mean, how goods move around the world and actually reach us, you just can't overstate it. Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start with the primary catalysts. What's really propelling this market forward? What's driving the growth? Well, the source points to one huge force, the massive growth of e-commerce. Online retail. It's not just about more packages, it's the speed, the, unpredictable demand spikes. It's turned these freight brokers into these crucial agility hubs. They're not just moving stuff, they're optimizing these complex, often last-mile deliveries that, well, traditional carriers might struggle with. Brokers are basically the surge capacity for the supply chain now.
And that connects directly, to another big driver.
Yeah.
Increased outsourcing. Companies are relying more and more on freight brokers, especially when the economy is volatile. They need brokers to manage complex shipping, reduce cost, and gain, strategic flexibility. This shift really allows businesses to focus on their core stuff, their main competencies, knowing the shipping side is handled by experts.
That outsourcing point is huge, letting companies focus. And that drive for efficiency, it leads right into the next catalyst, technology. The tech revolution in freight matching. Because it's not just who handles it, but how it's done now, right? These advanced freight platforms, mobile apps, they're not just faster, they're fundamentally changing the whole process, improving visibility, boosting efficiency for brokers and carriers. It's all about real-time data, automation.
Precisely. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, well, global trade keeps expanding. Cross-border shipments are growing. And that increases demand for brokers who can navigate all the complexities, tariffs, regulations, different transport modes across borders. It's a real challenge for companies alone. Brokers, with their specific knowledge and networks, they become indispensable, really. They're not just moving cargo, they're anticipating changes, ensuring compliance. Critical for smooth international movement.
Okay, so that paints a picture of, wow, incredible growth, lots of innovation. But like any industry this dynamic, it's not all smooth sailing. There are hurdles. So let's get into the restraints now. What are the biggest obstacles brokers are facing? How does it impact things, on the ground? Let's talk about rising fuel costs, operational expenses too. They hit the bottom line directly for brokers and shippers. It's this constant, unpredictable pressure point.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And tied to that, another major challenge, one with ripple effects everywhere, is the ongoing shortage of qualified drivers. And vehicle capacity, too. This isn't just about, a shipment might be a bit late. It can seriously disrupt service reliability. Think about the knock-on effects. A factory waiting for parts, a store with empty shelves, maybe a critical medical delivery missed. It just shows how interconnected it all is. One bottleneck affects everything down the line.
Yeah, that driver shortage is a tough one. And it's not just external pressures, is it? The market itself has challenges. You mentioned it's highly fragmented. Thousands of brokers, mostly small, mid-sized. It's crowded, low barrier to entry maybe. And many offer similar services, which leads to intense competition. Pricing pressure. Squeezed margins. It means brokers really have to fight to stand out, competing for the same carriers, the same loads. Makes it hard to scale, hard to innovate sometimes.
And layering on top of all that, compliance. Regulatory challenges, they're always there. These create significant operational hurdles, particularly for brokers working across different states, different countries. The rules, safety standards, legal stuff, they keep changing. It's not like you can just set it and forget it. Navigating all those regulations needs constant vigilance, constant adaptation, adds overhead, adds complexity.
Okay, so some pretty significant headwinds there. Fuel costs, driver shortages, fragmentation regulations. Wow. So despite these challenges, how's the industry adapting? What does this all mean for, well, what's next? Let's shift to the future trends, the exciting stuff shaping the industry. One big thing is adopting AI, artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, specifically for route optimization. This isn't just finding the shortest route anymore. It's using huge amounts of data to predict like micro disruptions, sudden bad weather, traffic jams. AI helps brokers dynamically reroute, plan loads better, cut delivery times, even forecast capacity needs much more accurately. That's revolutionary for profit, for service.
Yeah, absolutely. And another really interesting trend is the big push toward integrating freight brokerage platforms directly with transportation management systems, TMS. Think of a TMS as like the command center for a company's logistics. When these systems talk to each other seamlessly, brokers can tap right into a company's real-time needs, real-time data. It cuts out so much manual back and forth. It just speeds up the whole process, from getting a quote right through to the final delivery. Promises a much smoother workflow for everyone.
That integration sounds powerful. And building on that efficiency theme, real-time tracking, it's gone from a nice to have to basically standard practice, hasn't it? Shippers now demand total visibility, granular detail, every step of the way. So brokers have to implement live GPS tracking, provide constant updates, often proactively. It's not just where is it anymore. Clients expect to know its condition, the ETA, get alerts about potential delays before they even have to ask. Crucial for keeping customers happy and for operational control, too.
Definitely. And one final but really significant trend, the pivot towards sustainability. Green logistics initiatives. Environmental concerns are growing, clients are becoming more eco-conscious, and that pressure is real. So freight brokers are now actively working with carriers who offer low-emission vehicles or plan carbon-efficient routes. This isn't just, greenwashing. It's becoming a strategic advantage. It supports that wider shift to greener logistics, and honestly, long-term, it'll likely be a baseline expectation, a key part of market strategy.
Wow. Okay, so this deep dive really underscores just how dynamic this freight logistics brokerage market is. It's essential, constantly changing, a real linchpin in the global economy.
Yeah.
Far more complex than just moving things from A to B.
Absolutely. And understanding these drivers, these restraints, and these future trends we've talked about,
Yeah.
it gives you, the listener, a really comprehensive view of this critical industry, an industry that, yeah, subtly shapes almost everything around us every single day.
So here's something to think about as you go about your day. We talked about this strong move towards sustainability, towards green logistics. How might that emphasis actually impact the future cost of goods and their availability for, the average consumer? And maybe what role will technology, all that AI and integration we discussed, truly play in trying to balance those factors? Cost, availability, and sustainability. It's a tricky balance, isn't it? Lots to think about there. Thanks for diving deep with us today. Keep exploring.